Today we have the podcast with KhunFlow, and this podcast is brought to you by the members. Shout out to the glorious members. Where they at? Right here. You beautiful people make this all possible. Shout out to our VOD watchers. Shout out to the VOD watchers and the foundation. You guys make this all possible. All right, so let's go ahead and get back into the comments. So we're going to be talking about Uki Violeta. First off, welcome KhunFlow to the podcast again.
Yeah.
So
Another episode.
another episode. So I already said a lot of my comments already on the situation. If you don't know what those are, just a quick rundown. I think Uki is a bigot. I don't think he's a racist. I think people need to learn the difference between these two things. And if you want to know furthermore on what I think, just go to the videos. Chaotic, you want a quick rundown of your thoughts as well before we get into it?
I'm here to. I wanted to ask a question. Do you think there's a big difference between bigot and racist?
Yes. Yes. I think bigots are the type of people that'll just say stuff that'll hurt your feelings, and I think racists are people that'll actually hurt you. A bigot will hurt your feelings, a racist will hurt your body. That would be like the easiest way to break it down. Is it a big difference?
Going by definition, it's not that.
Oh, that's fine. You don't gotta go by definition.
Is if we're gonna go, get down to tax backs,
Brass tacks.
brass tacks. Who gives a fuck?
You see? Exactly. Brass tacks, racist, bigot. Yeah, it's like the same thing. Potato, tomato, potato.
You just said they weren't. But okay, that's fine.
Yeah, you see how we can always just flip flop it. That's my meaning. We can always flip flop it whichever way, if we want to. If you don't want to, that's okay. Let me know what you want to do with this pod. I already let my comments be known, so if people want to straw man my comments, that's okay. I really don't care.
No, I do think, obviously, he is a bigot, at least from everything that he said so far. And I'm sure there's more, but at least from the examples brought to the table from the video you watched and what we both watched.
Your background's being a little fuzzy again. I don't know if it's your fan.
My fan is not on.
Okay. Oh, that's good now.
Okay. Hold. Damn, I lost my train of thought.
Good. Catch it when you catch it. No rush. People want to fast forward in the video, they can. If you're stuck here watching the live, then you got to sit here and wait. But you chose to come to the live. I didn't force you to come here.
Oh yeah. Quick question, because I saw you talked about it a little bit in your video, and I was personally curious. You remember you said you got onto Enna about the Enna comment with the chicken thing, right? What do you think that's a racist comment?
Let's go grab the Enna comment, because people are not gonna know. So this is what Enna said. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Alright. By the way, they are, I believe she was drunk, but whatever. Let's continue.
Okay, you do a little bit of a weird accent, like an
Is your mic
accent
falling
that
a little
kinda
on the
tells you
stream?
that maybe you listen to too much, like, I don't know, Snoop Dogg or something. So, first of all, I was not raised in your neighborhood. I knew your accent.
Bro, I don't even.
Okay, so this is not even the fried chicken comment. This is okay. So to really explain,
Do you
what
think it's
happened
racist?
in the stream? Do I think it's racist? No, I don't think it's
Okay.
racist. No, I don't. Whatever she just said just now, I
What
don't
do you
think
think
it's
it
racist
is?
either. It's just ignorance. All it is. She's just ignorant. She doesn't understand. She even said so herself. She wasn't raised in that area. She doesn't know. She doesn't understand. And I think it's okay for you to be ignorant as long as you accept the fact that you can learn from it. You don't got to be ignorant forever.
But yeah, I really don't see. Obviously, we have this very specific definitions that you brought up in your video. That's why you brought up the word bigot and saying we need to be very strict about the words we use when labeling people.
We should.
Me personally, I don't think he's racist. Bigot, yes. But at the same time, I don't see much difference between bigot and racist. Both is hate towards a specific race. Whether you think your race is superior or not, you're still hating. You still have hate towards a particular race, which is both aren't good. Both are not good. One obviously takes it a different route, but both are just in general hate, prejudice, being biased against a specific race or group or whatever. So yeah,
what's the point? What's your point? You didn't end your point. What's your point?
I'm still talking.
Oh, okay. You're still talking.
Yeah, I was just giving my point of view because people don't know my point of view, like what I think I would label him as, right? Because you already gave your point, so I need to give mine. And past that, I saw that you said that he needed to be an example. He needs to be graduated because he's a corporate VTuber, and corporate VTubers should not be talking in the way that he is talking, which is absolutely true. He's held to a higher standard because he's corpo. What's it called? There's a word I was looking for. Fuck.
It's all good. I mess up words all the time. Yes, the last word in the last podcast, the word I was looking for is called analogy.
Analogy?
Yeah. We were talking about analogies, about the biggest buildings in the world.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing, like, too much to say on specifically the Uki thing. It's like, yes, he is a bigot. No, he's not a racist. Though they may be similar in definition. Obviously, we have to give very distinct titles so people aren't mislabeled. And should it be graduated? I think he should, because it's not like he like messed up and he apologized. It's like he messed up on multiple accounts and didn't apologize for any of them. So, and if you're gonna, like, for example, terminate other people for jokes or for whatever, like say this is bad and this is bad on other people's termination letters, you have to keep the same energy for every one of your talents if you're gonna try to get away from that claim that people are using for your company, which is favoritism.
So I would say, and the only reason why, like, normally I would say no, you don't have to graduate Uki for these comments because he's made them before. And same with, like, I wouldn't say Inna needs to be graduated for her chicken comments in 1 year ago. It would only be because last week Riku Tazumi said that we would do better. So now that you have set the precedent, you will do better. So what is it? They weren't better when they were letting all this other stuff happen. So now that they have, like, the CEO himself has said they will do better, now we have no choice but to enforce this policy. I wouldn't want to see Uki graduate. I get that's his humor and that's been his brand for the past 2 years. He's been in Noctics, right? But at this point, you got to be made an example of. They said they're going to do better. So either publicly suspend him or graduate. That would just be my opinion on it.
Yeah. Like you said, obviously the end of the situation is different because it was an ignorant mistake which she apologized for right away when she found out the issue. It's been like past 24 hours at this point. There's no apology from Yuki. He doesn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't think he did anything wrong. And this isn't one mistake. This is like multiple that have been unaccounted for, that have been swept under the rug. Because though you could say it's his humor, quote unquote humor. How is it really humor? At least from the examples I've seen, how is it humor? Because it's not like, oh, it's jokes. It's like, no, it's just literally just blatant statements like, hey, white people are bad at this, white people are bad at that. And
well, that's part of comedy. Chris Rock makes the same joke, and he's a professional comedian.
Okay, so
I mean, just because some people don't think it's funny doesn't mean others don't, which is like the shitty part, because humor is subjective. Racists say fucked up racist joke all the time, right? So in that group of racists, it would be like, yeah, that's funny, haha, black people eat chicken and watermelon. Other people will hear that and say that's fucked up because everybody eats chicken and fucking watermelon, right?
Yeah, but like we said,
but the context,
he's held to a higher standard.
Yeah, he is now, because Riku did that stuff earlier. If he wasn't, then like even in the chat, Rose said stealth suspension is more likely. It's Nijisanji after all. Nijisanji has a track record that everybody knows about. So in the context of Nijisanji, Uki's humor is funny. If you look at the chat, every time he says the joke, his chat says LMAO, his fan base. That is his, that like we can't pretend that the stargazers don't exist. These are people too, right? The people in the comments in the chat, they're people too. So if he makes this joke and other people say LOL, regardless if it's appropriate or not, that is what the foundation of this fan base is. Uki says white people
But what
can't
do you
cook.
do when someone gets hurt from it?
You don't do anything if that was already established that nobody cares. Nijisanji, the other talents in Nijisanji have publicly, I mean, how alive
People
as
do
well.
care, obviously.
Well, can I finish?
Go ahead.
When people already have the foundation of, hey, this is what goes on in the stream, then what happens in that stream is what's normal, like what's ever happening in everybody else's neighborhood. I live in a safe neighborhood. If I heard a gunshot, I'll be like, what is going on? If I live back in the hood again and I heard a gunshot, I'd be like, it's another day. It's all about circumstances. If people get hurt by his comments last year, nobody gave a fuck. Now people give a fuck, which is why I also hate people bringing up receipts. You should talk about what he said today. And like, yes, you could use his track record as an example, but if you're looking at it as, hey, back then Zion got terminated for a D's nuts joke, and an Alouette says D's nuts joke, she's not terminated. Now we have a scandal. Celine Totsky is fired for whatever fucking reason she got fired. Now, if the same thing happens again, whoever it is, whether it's Vox Akuma, they need to be held to the same standard, because they said they will hold them at a high standard. Do you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Standards change depending on the environment. If the environment changed, the standards change as well.
At least I understand what you mean, because at least like for me in my eyes, right? Oh, something could be normalized. That doesn't make it good at the same time.
I agree.
Like just like you said, gunshots in the neighborhood. It might be normalized. Doesn't mean it's good.
I agree.
It's the same thing with the comments that he's made. It's like, okay, him and his chat are laughing about it. Maybe it's normal for him to say that. Doesn't make it okay.
That's true. But what can you really
You will
do?
have people who are hurt from this. And because it's specifically, like you said, because he's in a corpo, that we're having this entire conversation. If this was an indie, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard because in this conversation there are multiple points, because there are multiple different points of nijisanji saying, hey, we're okay with this, we're not okay with that. Like, no accountability. So now we have to figure out what they should be holding their talents accountable for. I feel like if you try and enforce stuff that they said a long time ago, you'd be getting rid of most of the talents, because a lot of the talents have done a lot of messed up stuff in the past 2 years. Which would mean, why would we have nijisanji in if we're going to have to graduate 80% of the staff? Because the only ones that have a good track record that I know of is Shu Yamino and maybe Maria Marionette and maybe a couple others. But those 3, 4, 5 people they can't take care of a company that has 20 talents. If you fire everybody, like, they're just gonna crumble. So what you would have to do is hire new staff and make them enforce this new rule. Hire new talents, say, hey, you know what we did? We were edgy nijisanji, we're not edgy anymore. They'd have to wash it, which would absolutely fucking suck. How many times have we enjoyed some type of content on YouTube, Filthy Frank, and then YouTube comes in and say, hey, we got to make some money. Filthy Frank, you got to go banned. All that edgy humor that even I enjoyed personally, even I understand, hey, you can't have that shit on YouTube no more. The throw up, the vomit cake, the Max Mofos. I know you know some of these names. Come on, bro. I know you not.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm just listening.
Okay. So it's like, yeah, times change and people have to change accordingly. And if they don't, they get left behind. Is it shitty? Yes. Like, I miss the days of YouTube when you could just go on there and just say the N-word and people be like, oh my God, that's funny. But we live in different times. We all grow up. We're not teenagers anymore. You can jump on if you want to. I rest my case. I don't really have much else I could really say besides, like, shit changes.
Yeah, the thing is, I suppose the only thing I can really say is nijisanji, even from the very beginning, thrives on controversy.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's the way they thrive. That's how they put their name out there, through their talents being controversial and edgy. And that's how they've grown. That's how it's always has been. Like, and obviously, in more recent times, we see the favoritism. Obviously, for Zion, it's a unique case, because it's not like she only made jokes.
No, she kept messing up. She kept messing up.
It's not. Yeah, it's only that. But it was like her slandering the company on her private account, and that's obviously a big one, a big reason why that'd be valid for her to be terminated. If you're, because if I remember correctly, she was on her private life account, liking posts about like hate on nijisanji. But yeah, so they continue to have low standards, and I really don't see it changing, even if they say it will. Because even we could see as of today, they're trying to hire people right now, and the standard for being hired, their requirements are extremely low. Not only are they paying low, but like the requirements are low.
So
it's like,
and even though
if they want to,
even though they say they want to change, it's like when your CEO comes out here and bows and says, hey, we will change, even if we know for a fact they won't, right? I don't expect them to, but we have to hold their feet to the fire because they said they would in their corporation. Like I already said, I don't want Uki to be graduated, but he has to be graduated.
At the very least, suspended.
At the least suspended. And it has to be a public suspension, not a quiet one, because then it's adding fuel to the fire. Because now everybody's going to wonder, Hey, where's the apology? You guys said you would do better. Now we got to do a podcast. Hey, Nijisanji said they'll do better, but they're not. What's going on? And it's like, you said you'd do better, but you're not.
What they need to do, which they should have done from the start, is giving their talents way more PR training. Because they've obviously been known to rush through so many things, whether it's recruitment of talents, whether it's recruitment of staff, whatever. And these talents really aren't PR trained whatsoever. Because there's literally just been so many examples of different talents saying things that are, whether it's insensitive, whether it's this case right now, Zion, Kyo, other examples. These people are not properly PR trained, which is something that obviously needs to be added to their policy, which needs to be added to whenever they hire new talents, and even needs to be applied to their existing talents, is they need to be more disciplined in their PR training, because it's been obvious now that they aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember the time difference between Crisis and Triple T, right? It was like, what, 3 to 4 months? It was something like that. And it's a short time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
And like, when I think of like, for example, Hololive, they've stated like how long they were in training for. That they're at least like 6 months in training, being trained, making sure everything's good, make sure they're PR trained, make sure, hey, in the case of this happening, do this, or, you know, it's something you can't do. Here's the line that can't be crossed.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. They need to publicly say, this is the line that will not be crossed. And I think this is the perfect example of that. The perfect example is just the tweet that he said earlier. Literally, there it is. And you could also use, I don't really know if you could use UQ Wilson. Did you see what happened to UQ Wilson?
I did see, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it up for the stream just in case nobody saw it. So it was a tweet, UQ Wilson. Let me see, where is this? It's gonna be in the debate. Theories. Because it's obviously a deleted tweet now, deserved, because it was fucking terrible. So let's zoom in here, join the Discord if you want. This is as much as I can zoom in. Basically, UQ Wilson says, also never let, and this is referring to whenever that person got criticism about their Nijisanji art, and Nijisanji, I heard, okay, I'm gonna save that for after this part, because I've heard some crazy shit about that in general, but this was basically Nijisanji trying to defend their artists, and their Nijisanji art is I mean, that's important. But he says, also never let anyone bully you into stopping drawing what you are passionate about. Fan art is the cutest shit ever. And then this person responded, good thing no one gets bullied in Nijisanji EN. Obviously bait. Obviously bait. And Uki Wilson falls for it. I don't know if it's on purpose, like Uki, when he fell for his bait. They need to stop responding, because he says, did you form that opinion from your favorite drama tuber? You doing this is harassment. Leave my community alone and spend time doing things you love instead of spreading trash. He's trying to go for the moral high ground. He's trying to say, oh, you didn't form this opinion on your own. You just regurgitated what somebody else is saying. And then saying they're being harassed. You're on a public platform, man. People are going to criticize what you have to say. He says, leave my community alone, spend time doing things you love instead of spreading trash. Trying to say what we're doing, right? Letting other people know Nijisanji does have a toxic work environment. There is some type of bullying going on. We're letting people know. You are doubling down and saying, hey, you're spreading trash. When really, it's the truth. And then this person responds, yeah, I learned from my favorite drama tubers at Nijisanji World and Alira Pandora, the latter, whose slanderous and bullying stream you uncritically retweeted and without later remorse, Celine could have died. Like, so yeah, so people that don't know, Celine, Ike Vox, they all were used for a slanderous campaign against Celine Totsky. Celine could have died, and you joined in on gang beating to save your job, question mark. How can you even respond to this? He was trying to
go for the moral high ground.
How can you even respond?
You really can't. You can't gain a moral high ground whatsoever. No matter what words you use, you can absolutely cannot gain a moral high ground in this situation with the way the company has been exposed. Because literally, this guy gives the perfect example. It's like, this is a slanderous message against someone who tried to kill themselves and trying to throw Celine under the bus, and you're the one that retweeted it, saying you're in support of this, and you're over here talking about anti-bullying, but at the same time, you're not keeping the same energy into your company.
It's throwing a rock and hiding your hand. And the hard part is this UQ Wilson really is Wilson himself? Was he the one that actually retweeted it, or did management retweet it on his behalf? We don't know. But regardless, the character UQ Wilson, we have to say, hey, you're part of the problem. The guy behind the character, I don't know. Never talked to him personally. I have no idea if he's a good or bad person. But on Twitter, brother, you are not fighting the good fight. And if you think you are, you're on the wrong side. You are legitimately on the wrong side.
Absolutely. That's why they really just need to completely shut up, not respond to any hate, any criticism, really. They're in bad times right now, and no matter what words you choose, you will not win.
You won't. It's already set in stone. Your company is not good, and we know they're not good. Do you want to go through comments?
Yeah, sure.
I'll put them on screen. You could just pick out whichever ones you want. I'll get the ones from the original video. Yeah. I'll take out these as well. So this was a great comment I saw. It's... Oh, okay. I didn't even see that they had a conversation. Kind of annoyed how many people are only looking at the collection of clips with no other context, and I also didn't see anyone mention it earlier. And I thought, why not be the person to do so? Yeah, you guys should do so. So this person says, what's the difference between racial supremacy and racism?
It's the same thing. Literally the same thing.
But it's like, if you want to be that guy, it's like, what is your point?
Yeah, I see them. They're pulling definitions and everything.
It's a very... Did you find any that you specifically wanted to... Right now, I'm just showing them off and just looking. But I don't know if you had some you already wanted to respond to.
I think there are some that I just put a like button on so I could locate them.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's a person saying, did you watch facts about slavery never mentioned in school? Which they were trying to talk about, because I know what they're trying to talk about. They're trying to talk about how slavery isn't only black people, which is true. You know, in the 1600s, I believe, white people were also slaves to black people. So, you know, it went both ways in history. Obviously, though, it's not taught enough.
It's not taught enough. And we could talk about why it's not taught enough, but that will go into upsetting a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people
one's more recent than the other.
A lot of people want to forget history because they think it was a long time ago. I hear this argument all the time. It's like racism was a long time ago. And it's like, bro, your great-grandparents...
Racism started a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's forever present.
Yeah, racism's been
society.
since like the dawn of fucking history, but they're only thinking about American slavery and racism. But it's like, bro, this stuff's been around for a long time, and people want to close their eyes, shake their head, and pretend like, no, it was a long time ago. Just get over it. How can you get over it?
The only reason I bring it up is because people on Twitter were in defense of Yuki, right? And from what I was saying is like, white people you can't be racist to white people. Which is, I mean, it's untrue.
That's not true.
It's like white people were never oppressed.
That's not
white
true.
people were never oppressed.
White people have been oppressed.
It goes to show just how uneducated people are.
Holy shit.
They look at Western society and think it's the entire world.
Holy shit. And that's crazy because white people... Holy shit. White people hated other white people, and it wasn't even that long ago. Irish people were considered to be inferior whites. And that wasn't even that long ago. That was back during World War II. They would send Irish Americans to war because they were the inferior white people, quote unquote. But Irish people are white as fuck.
Oh yeah. What's it called? They're late. Because they just generally don't teach enough about history. They taught one side of slavery, not the other, which is, I don't know, that's just the educational system and why so many people are unformed.
I've said this once and I'll say it again. The education system is failing our children. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to say that, but it's true. The public education system, at least. I'm not sure about the private education sector. But the public education sector is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, because we all remember in history class being taught about slavery, and it only talked about in a general area, like a specific slavery. It never really spread out or talked about anything else, like the North African barbarian kidnapping and enslaving white Europeans. It never talked about that, which is something that did happen in history, but it's never taught.
It's never taught, and it's the curriculum. It's not even really the teachers. It's the curriculum, and it's that, I'm not gonna lie, these new generation, Gen Alpha, they're a legitimate different breed of human. And when I say this, people think, what do you mean? How are they a different breed of human? Bro, my next door neighbor has a 2-year-old that speaks fluent English and Thai, and she's a white baby, 2 years old. They are legitimately a different breed. They learn faster than the previous generations of humans, and that's just how information works. Somebody teaches you something, you pass it down. Now, what happens when we have the availability of the internet? Anybody can teach anyone anything about everything. And then you give it to a little kid, and they just absorb that shit.
Yeah.
They're a different breed of human.
I see the newest comment on your video, and it's saying, is he a bigot? Yes, he hates certain race, gender, and sexual orientation different from his. Is he a racist? Yes, he hates a certain race different from his. Is he a racist and a bigot? Yes. He says, it's not rocket science. You know, you don't need to whip someone to become racist. You think of that?
Let me see it. Wait, where is it? Which
It's
video?
from 12 minutes ago. It's your video.
No, which one, bro?
The one that you just made about Yuki.
Oh, okay. But then you graduate Uki? Let's see.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Where is it?
It's not showing up for you?
Oh, I click refresh.
They just deleted it. Let me see.
Let's see. I'll click on the actual video.
Yeah, just sort by newest.
Let's see. News first.
There
Let's
it
see
is.
this. Is he a bigot? Yes. He hates certain race. And this is like immediately, I can't even agree with this. How do you know that he hates white people? I'm making these jokes about them. Hate and, dislike, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's really not. And it's like, do I feel like I'm being that guy? Yeah, but it's like, bro, I can't sit here and say, yeah, man, Uki Violeta hates white people. I don't know him. Gender and sexuality orientation different from his. Is he a bigot? Yes, he hates certain race, gender, and sexual orientation different from his. I just don't believe that. I just don't believe that sentence. He hates certain race, gender, and sexual orientation different from his. Can you give an example? I would say,
it depends on perception. It depends on individual perception, because like if I were to give another example, let's say a white person, like you said before, if a white person tells a black person across the street that doesn't know him, they don't know each other, and says a racist joke towards him, walks away. What is he labeled a racist?
I'm not too sure. I'm honestly not too sure.
Because you always have to keep the same energy.
Yeah, you do.
Because like we talked about just a second ago, people were saying white people you can't be racist against white people. No, you can be.
You can.
Just because 100%. You live in a Western society does not mean one is means more than the other. Because would you label that white person to be racist because he looked at that black man across the street, said, "Hey, why don't you go eat some chicken and watermelon," and walked off?
And you know what's funny? Unironically, I don't really know. I really don't know, because how did he say it? Right? At that point, it's how did he say it?
It's just like blank face, said it, walked away.
I'll be like, this guy's fucking weird. I really don't know. It's hard because when I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna sound pretty fucking crazy. When I'm still friends with, I literally just texted this man earlier. I had a sergeant in the military, and a lot of people in the military, when they join, they have legitimately never seen another black person in their life. Legitimately. I am not joking when I say this. They have never seen another black person in their life. So he's like trying to understand, what do black people like? What, like, are these stereotypes real? So he's like, oh, what's up, Wesley Snipes? Oh, let's get some fried chicken. I'm just like, bro, not all black people are like that. And he's like, he tries to understand it. Not everybody does. So I don't like calling people racist. Even if they do some racist shit, I feel like I need more proof, because so many people get labeled racist in the world. We need to figure out who the real racists are, because there's legitimate racist people in power in the military, for one, that I've seen. I know my captain, African American, he was a black captain. He told me himself that there were generals that treated him lesser because of his skin color. My captain, an officer in the military, has stated and told me that he has been put down because of his race. There are legitimate racists, so that's why I really don't care when a random person says some racist stuff. I can't really go out and say they are in fact a racist. But if it's somebody, I feel like you have to suss them out. If they're really racist, you suss them out. Because every kid in Call of Duty says the N-word. Is every kid in Call of Duty a racist? Some are. Not all of them. Some legitimately are. Some legitimately are, right? Well, I know I've been in the Call of Duty lobby and he's saying some shit that's like, bro, you're not just racist. I mean, like, you're not just joking when you say the N-word. Like, you're legit, like, a piece of shit. And we're both playing the same game.
It's hard to put a label on this situation. It's hard to put a label on Uki, because while we bring out the words bigot, while we bring out the words racist, even because I just did it right now, I looked up on multiple sources, what is the definition of a racist? Oh. And I got different definitions. One's telling me a person that believes their race is superior over the other. One is saying, oh, it's prejudice or hate against a different race. So that right there, those are two different definitions.
Yes, they are two different. I think we need to update the definition as well. Someone did say in the comments, I'm not going to look for it, but it was in one of my videos, one of the Uki videos. It was a great comment, I really want to pull it up, but at the same time, it's going to take me a minute to find it. But paraphrasing, you can go find the comment for yourself. Paraphrasing, there should be a new term when it comes to racism. So we can separate somebody that says something racist, like when Uki said stuff that was racist. I don't want to call him a racist because now I'm saying Uki Violeta is the same as people from the Ku Klux Klan. And they said we need to form a new word to label super racist. And I said, I'm all in favor for a new word of super racist, as long as it's not called super racist, because that's dumb. And new words are made all the time. So if we can find a legitimate new word to separate someone from the KKK and someone that just says some fried chicken watermelon comment, that would be better. But until society can come up with a word that we all can agree on, I just have to say Uki Violeta is a bigot, and that's it. Because there's a fine line between bigot and racist, and that line gets very fucking murky. Even though it's a fine line, that bitch is very murky. So I can't just sit here and say he's racist. Unless he comes out and says some legitimate racist shit.
It's very difficult to say, because at most we can say that he appears to be biased against white people. Like even with this comment when he talked about the old white couple just literally
and
just saying hi
about
to
that.
him.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that. He said hi back, right? Even in his story, he said hi back. If he was a racist, why would he would just walk away? Right? If you're a racist,
I don't think he said hi back. I don't remember that.
Hold on, let me see the clip. Goddamn, I'll pull up the clip.
I remember he said what he was thinking about the fact that
but he said hi. Hold on, because I met I don't know. Have you met racists before? Like a legitimate racist?
Yeah.
Legitimate racists are not friendly. They would not say hi. They wouldn't smile in your face. Well, the ones I met, anyways. All right, where was it? Was it this story? No, it wasn't this story. I think it's Color Tiles. This one he said the story.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, it's this one. So here's the full context as we have
walking
it.
around, and then this old white couple passes by you, and they're like, "Hello, whatever," and I'm like, hello. Can I help you? We don't know each other. Why did you say hello? Why are you smiling at me? Why are you talking to me? What business do you have with me? And by the time I'm thinking all these thoughts, they've already moved on and walked down the street and kept minding their business. I'm sure the town had things to say.
Yeah. So, like he said, by the time I'm thinking all these thoughts,
and it's just like, where all these Asian people come from?
I don't know what you could take from that. I can't give a defense or an accusation. It's just, what do you think about it?
it's like I said, it's just like what his thoughts were in that predicament, and he just said, by the time he thought all of that, the couple already moved on. So he didn't say hi.
Mm.
He just kind of looked and just like, why are you speaking to me? Why is this white couple speaking to me? And that's basically it,
And it's
like,
confusing. Is he like that with everybody? Because, be honest, in this world, in this society, people do not talk to each other. A lot of you guys ignore. It happens to me in person, anyways.
The thing is, why does he have to point out that they're white? Why? Why not just say this old couple, and it's like, oh, he doesn't know how to talk to people. Why does he point out that they're white?
That's a good question. Why do a lot of people do that? I don't know. Some people feel like
that's why he's being accused. That's why this clip is in there, because he's specifying, oh, it's this white couple.
Hmm.
And again, it's hard to put a definition. It's hard to label this situation because we have the term bigot, we have the term racist. Both are similar.
Mm.
Both can get mixed up with each other. Some people saying it's he's a racist. Some people saying he's just, bigot. It really just depends on how you look at it.
It really does. It really does. And that's the shitty part. Where is the concrete evidence that he is a racist? I feel like that's what you gotta actually find if you want to call him one. You guys gotta actually find the concrete evidence. Personally,
yeah.
I mean, this is just personal.
I personally don't want to defend him though.
That's okay.
From these statements,
and that's okay.
Because we could label him a bigot. It's fine. The term bigot still is not a good term.
It's not, exactly.
Because you're still hating against a race.
Yeah, it's not. But like I said, you got to compare them. Bigot, shit, I ain't gonna lie. I'd rather be called a bigot than a racist. And it's just me personally.
Well, yeah, because racist is way more known.
Exactly. No, but racist is just worse in general. It's like, would you rather someone say that you're smelly, or would you rather someone say you're stinky? You know, both aren't good. I'd rather someone be like, oh, smelly than stinky, because stinky, it's like, oh, it stinks. Smelly, okay, well, smelly. But
I feel like I understand why people say these are racist jokes, why they use the term racist, because the way the word racism and racist is used, it's
too loose.
It's very common. Like, for example, Japan with people visiting them from overseas. Like, how are you gonna label that? Are you gonna label them racist or
xenophobic?
And
I would say
obviously
xenophobic.
many more examples.
Gaijin.
But it's just like, it's hard. It's really just hard to say.
It is hard because especially when you use Japanese, right? If you use any other country that most of the people are that one ethnic group, they don't really know any other ethnic group besides themselves, right? And all they can really go off of is tourists. And tourists aren't exactly the most representative of their culture / race. Like, in general, I'm a black man living in Thailand. When people see me, I see how the kids look at me. Literally, they look at me like, oh my God, this is the first black person I've ever seen. And I just say Swati Krab. And then they say, oh, Swati Krab, he's friendly. And so I automatically instill in that child's mind, black people aren't bad. Even though there are some legitimately bad black people.
Yep. Yeah, just a very muddled line. But it depends on the person. Like, we're choosing to label him as a bigot. Some people choose to label him as a racist, and I understand why. It's just a very muddled line.
It is.
Both are similar, and just it is.
Both are bad.
At the end of the day,
but then I think we do have to say what's the difference.
Yeah. We can't really tell the difference even
online. We can't tell the difference, like, for Uki, but it's like we still have a difference between bigot and racist. We have at least a bit of a understanding. At least that's what I just want to educate a little bit. Even if I can't instill a type of value into somebody, as long as they know a little bit more.
Not even in Yuki's case, it's like, what is the difference? Because if we look up online, because I'm just talking about definitions, right? If I looked up 6 sources of what is the definition of racism, what is the definition of a bigot, and some of the definitions of racism were the exact definition of a bigot. So it doesn't make sense.
Well, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like we haven't made a concrete solution to the problem. So let me know when everybody wants to come up with an exact word and definition. And then we can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only do so much. Yeah.
This is the fault of Uki. He, at the very least, needs to be suspended. An example needs to be set.
Yeah, I agree.
Right now.
I agree.
Especially with your company on fire.
Especially with your company on fire.
Yep.
We'll talk about the Wilson situation another time, but I think this is a good episode to end this pod off on. We'll do the Wilson pod later. I'm gonna watch the Wilson video from Kel later as well, and then we'll do a pod tomorrow, same time, around the same time. Sounds good to me. Does it sound good to you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. We can continue this in the Discord if y'all really want to. Just go to the debate section and talk about it if y'all would like to. This is your boy, KhunShawn. This is my boy, Chaotic. And we'll see you guys on the next one. I'm already subscribed. Bye-bye.
Later.